ANZAC Day 2023. Unfortunately, the Warriors go down to the Storm. Let's have a bit of a look at how this one played out. Hey team, welcome back to the Warriorholic. Man, it was a tough loss. I think the boys could have won that one. We had it in the bag, but a few things went against us, but bloody proud of the effort. I think we would have taken a lot out of that. It makes us a much stronger club, but geez, it would have been nice to have got those 2 points. So let's have a quick look at the overall stats from both teams. So 32-22, 5 tries to 4 to the bad guys. Given we had 4 guys out injured at the end there, it wasn't a bad effort really. Up until the last couple of minutes there, we were only 2 points behind, had every chance to win it, but, just a little bit of a bridge too far this time. Looking at the overall stats, or the team stats here, 50-50 in possession exactly, 27 minutes each. They had 81% completion rate, we had 89. That's a bloody good effort against the Storm, and that's the kind of completion rate you need to beat these top 4 kind of, or the teams competing for the top 4 there. So, line breaks, they had 9, we had 4. Tackle breaks, 38 for them versus 34 for us. Not a huge amount in it there. Showed we were competitive. One good stat there. Normally the Storm were well known for holding people down on the tackle, but this time they had 3.77 seconds for their average play of the ball versus 3.4 for us. That's a pretty quick stat when you're playing the Storm, and not too many teams actually get a faster play of the ball than them. Right, defensive effort, 89.7 for them, 88.2 for us. Tackle efficiency there, so that's a pretty good effort. Total tackles made, they made 348. We made 364, so, it showed we're on defence a little bit more than them. Missed tackles, 34 for them versus 38 from us. It felt like we made more, but, pretty even stat there. Ineffective tackles, 6 for them and 11 for us. I think most of those would have come from Big Nelson there. Errors, this is an interesting one. 9 errors for the Storm and only 4 for us. Penalties conceded, 5 to them, 7 for us. Ruck infringements, 2 for them, 3 for us. And inside the 10, 1 each, which I think is pretty much bullshit. We all know how bad the reffing was. We should have got a few more penalties than that, but hey, that's the way the things go. Yeah, so overall, how did it play out? First 20 minutes, man, it was probably the best 20 minutes I've seen from a Warriors team in a very, very long time. So slick, so well played as a team, on defense, on offense, we were making huge meters up the middle. Our attack, when we got into their attacking zone, was so slick. We just waltzed over the line 3 times there in the first half. We made it look easy, but, we weren't prepared for that 40-20, and we weren't able to defend it, so we allowed them to get back in the game. Again, we gave away a few silly penalties. Luckily they didn't hurt us too much in the first half, but, pretty tough there. When you're giving away those penalties against the Storm, and, they showed once they got into our half, they scored with relative ease for, at least the first half and the beginning of the second half. So, but what I'm probably the most proud of is, with no one left on the bench there, guys absolutely gassed, starting, bench props like Bunty playing 70 minutes or close to 70 minutes here, I think. When he's used to playing 25. Guys like that, fighting and fighting to hold our line, and to only be 2 points down with 20 minutes to go and hold them to 1 try in the last 20 minutes, that's unheard of from a Warriors team in the past. So that made me the proudest, so close, but I think we were just out of gas. Losing 2 of our most, creative players there, or, guys who are vital to our attack, and Tohu and Chance, it was just a bridge too far in the final quarter there, which is a real shame, but hey. So the other key turning points for me, I guess, is Nelson coming on there after around 25 minutes. He was huge, as we predicted, very, very hard to contain. When he's got 2 or 3, 4 guys hanging off him and still getting the arm free, you're always going to have an overlap there. But I think overall, we managed to contain him reasonably well. Big Nelson, he pissed me off, to be honest. He's such a grub, as are a lot of the Storm people. I've got a couple of videos I captured there to share on Twitter of him intentionally dropping knees into Ford's head. The high shots that he just never got pulled up for. I think the reffing is a second turning point for me. In the first half, I think we got a pretty fair rub of the green, but in the second half, it's almost like they were given some kind of signal to start giving us the shit sandwich, because, you know, some of those calls, it started really when Walker got 10 in the bin. So it was clearly like he had his hand on the ball, but his arm bounced off that as they came down. So it wasn't a head slam. You know, it might have been a penalisable offence, but it definitely wasn't 10 in the bin. It's definitely not worth 2 or 3 weeks off. You look at Wishart in the last 3 minutes there, readjusted his chokehold across the throat of Dallin and then slammed him into the ground and only got penalised. So that was pretty disappointing, not unexpected, but still, you know, you can't blame the refs for that loss. I think it more comes down to the players we lost. So first up, Tohu with his knee there. Again, another example of the refs like just allowing play to go on while he's trying to get carried off there. But he was a key linchpin in our attack, right? You know, the first or second receiver there, and giving our halves a bit more space there for the third receiver and so forth. Really, really vital to our attack and our defence. So it was a really big loss to lose him there. And then to lose CNK, you know, to the head knock. He's another vital cog in our attack. We saw him with a couple of beautiful depth touches there to help set up those tries out wide. So, you know, 2 nails in our defence, our attacking coffin right there. Then to lose Jazz, one of our highest energy players who would have been there right until the end and is pretty creative and gets that line speed going. That was tough. Ciro, you know, not such a big loss for the way he was playing, but still, you know, when you get down to no one left on your bench, it's always going to be a tough ask. I'm not going to go through all of the players. I think, you know, other than Ciro having a bit of nightmare on defence, the boys all stood up. But I'll give you a couple of quick highlights for me. Was so Chance there, while he was still there, he only played 55 minutes, but he ran for 124 metres and 37 post-contact metres. 100% tackle efficiency in 2.9 seconds for his play the ball is ultra quick. Dallin, you know, he had an absolute nightmare in the first half on the wing, coming out of his line there and just letting them waltz over for that try. But I thought he went pretty well once he went to fullback. You know, he ran for 157 metres, post-contact, 40 post-contact metres, 8 tackle breaks, 2 line breaks. So they're pretty good stats. You know, he's pretty solid under the high ball there. But still, that was some pretty weak effort there on defence when he was on the wing. Others, like all of our backs, actually, outside backs. So Montoya, 110 metres. Pompey, 116 metres. Cossey, 138 metres. So great for those boys to get in there and do the legwork for the forwards. I thought Walker was really, really solid again. Some great defensive stats there, and I think he just really showed that he's going to be a good cover there once he's back from a suspension. That is for Tamati Martin. He might not get a game this weekend if we're not able to defend that, so we might see Volkman come in there. Sean Johnson, you know, he had a really solid game again. I think we got a little bit exposed there towards the sort of second half of the second half, you know, or the last quarter of the game there, when they really started rushing Johnson on his kicks. And he got caught out a couple of times having to rush them, or like almost getting caught with the ball there. So I think that showed, you know, the Storm with their 3 kicking options in Grant, Hughes and Munster. Definitely harder to shut their kicking game down, but that was tough for SJ. But he still played really well for me. Adam Fanor-Blake, man of the match for me. 70 minutes, 177 metres, 56 post-contact metres, 42 tackles. What a beast, you know. I think that's clearly his best game in the Warriors jersey, and it's just, you know, he dominated that first quarter, making runs like meters at will. Great competition between him and Nelson once he got on there, but yeah, he was outstanding. Lussick, big step up, better passing, but 50, what did he have? 53 tackles, I think it was, at an 89% tackle efficiency. It was a really great effort from him, one of his best games for the Warriors. Near quarter and Ford, massive. Near quarter particularly his most metres this season with 133. But both those guys gave away a couple of silly penalties and a couple of errors. And interestingly, I didn't notice on the day, as Ford missed 8 tackles. 8 of them are probably counted against Nelson running out against him on the edge there, but still that wasn't ideal. Bunty. Big ups to Bunty, mate. I've given him a bit of shit this year, but he ran for 114 metres, 47 tackles with only 1 tackle miss. He was gassed, but he just kept fighting until the end. Tom Ali, it was just such a shame he made that massive run up the middle there to really get us rolling when we're still only 2 behind. And to get that ball punched out from behind him was just such a shame, and it was a real turning point, because had he got that ball played away, we could have been back in the lead there. So he continues to step up. We didn't see huge minutes from Curran, which is unusual. He only played, I think it was 25 minutes in total. Big Cero there, 5 tackle misses in 1 set. That was a bit of a nightmare for the big fella coming on. But hey, overall, really, really proud of all the effort. They just showed that this is a completely new team. It's a completely new club. Just so proud of the effort. I just wish they got the win for themselves, because they would have been gutted to lose it. Listening to Webby in the post-game conference here, not nailing those big moments. Again, it's one of those things we're struggling with, is when we don't defuse a bomb and the ball bounces, we're not there to cover it up. And so often that's going into the opposition's hands, and that happened again in the weekend. So, tough day out, but they'll learn a lot from that. They'll take a lot away from it. A lot of people will be a lot more, mindful of how strong the Warriors can be away from home this year. We're going to lose 5 guys potentially from the weekend. Going into this weekend, there's going to be a big chance for some of these young fellas to come up. If Walker ends up challenging this and doesn't get away with it, that means we should see Volkman come in. Depending on how Cero and how Egan come through their head knocks, we may see some of these young forwards coming through. Really curious to see if we do. There's 2 or 3 guys that are really stepping up, and Sifakula, Zion Mayu, and potentially getting their chances there. So I'd love to see one of them just hit the ground running. We've seen it from Penrith over the past couple of years, where they've just debuted guys who've just never left the team once they debuted, because they've taken a step up instantly. So I'd love to see that from our boys if they get a run. I really want to see Volkman have a big game and run with the freedom he does in New South Wales Cup if he gets in. So looking forward to it. I'll do a bit of a preview either tomorrow or on Saturday morning for the Sunday game. But for now, very proud, Warriorholic. Disappointed, pissed off at the ref, pissed off at the filth from some of those Storms players, but ultra proud of our boys. One of the best losses I've seen from the club in a very long time, if you can have such a thing. All in, let's go this weekend, smash those friggin' Roosters. They had a crap game on the weekend and only just won, so there's every chance if we play to our potential, we can get them done at home. So let's go. Mighty New Zealand Warriors.